Hi, and welcome to Carolina Varsity's 2015 Players of the Week of Week 1. I'm Dale Ross.
I'm the Fat Man, Matt Morrow.
And Matt, I'll get this thing rolling. I'm sorry, I didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare. I'll roll it with, since I attended the first game of the season, Concord came over to play Kannapolis. And in that ball game, Jalen Cagle, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. The game was kind of a back and forth game, and it was a very tight ball game. And Kannapolis was down 15-14. And in the fourth quarter, I don't know if it's because Concord's legs were going out from under them, or if the coaches really saw something, but they started pounding that right side of the defensive line, and most importantly at the edge. And they ended up getting two big touchdowns from this kid at 100 and was it 60? You got the stat?
166 yards rushing.
166 yards and two very important touchdowns in securing the bell. The bell has not been in Kannapolis the last 3 seasons. Concord was over there ringing that bell as hard as they could in the fourth quarter. Their fans weren't too much into it. This kid put the bell on his back, so to speak. But anyway, I thought he played very well. I didn't mean to be so long-winded. You have a couple from the game.
I attended 2 games on Friday night. First one was Southeast Guilford, West Charlotte. Southeast Guilford had a running back by the name of Stephen Baldwin, 25 carries, 296 yards, and 3 touchdowns in their 42-20 victory over West Charlotte. And especially this kid, because they were down 6-0 for the majority of the first half. West Charlotte's defense played really well. And their coaches found something, and this kid, Baldwin, took 2 touchdowns to the house. He scored 1, put him up 7-6 from about 50 yards out. And then Southeast Guilford had an onside kick, beautiful call. They got the ball back and scored right back off the same play again from midfield. And this kid scored both times, flipped the momentum of the game, and really kind of put the game in Southeast Guilford's control. So great job to him. And overall, their running game had over 400 yards on the ground. They just kind of wore West Charlotte down as the game went on.
My first game for Friday night was Vance and West Mecklenburg. Thanks for inviting me to the game. Coaches at Vance, that's one of the reasons I came. Also met Matt prior to the game and kind of put me close. I tell you, Miles Dorn is my player for what I saw. Now, Ifedi, both the quarterback and wide receiver, they got to get mentions here because they actually showed us what we're going to see from Vance this year. West Meck had a little bit of movement of the ball but didn't do anything. Very first play of the ball game, I think it was 80 yards. I think the ball was on the 20 and Ifedi to Ifedi for a touchdown. Coach Bryan is a running guy, and it's kind of funny because one of my West Meck buddies was talking about how, Coach Bryan, you got a lot of grief back in that playoff game that you guys controversially lost but didn't want to throw the ball. I think he's got the tools to throw the ball, and that other receiver that he's got, Miles Dorn, let me tell you something. The deal is real with him. This kid is going to be special this year, and we've got a number of good wide receivers. Jeff and I saw some good wide receivers Saturday night, but this kid, Miles Dorn, and I don't have your stats, I'm sorry. Dorn, Ifedi, and Ifedi. You get the team, obviously, but...
the quarterback, Kingley Ifedi, 20 of 32, 436 yards, 6 touchdowns. Very impressive numbers right there.
Yeah.
Second game, we went to Hopewell and Garinger, caught the second half.
Hold on one second. 436 yards. Wow. Yeah. So a lot happened. There was 4 touchdowns in the first half. And 6 touchdowns, 436 yards out of an Aaron Brand team. 436. I'm sorry, but wow. Okay, keep going.
Hopewell Garinger got their second half. This kid made a big impression on me. I don't know his last name. I know his first name's Trey. I looked everywhere I could to try to find him on a roster somewhere, but I apologize. But quarterback number 1 for Hopewell looks like a young Cam Newton clone. They run like a spread option type of offense, a lot of misdirection type of things. His reads were really good. He had a nice running touchdown from about 40 yards out. Distributed the ball well. Nice option pitches. Everything looked really well. And Hopewell overall looks like a very, very well coached team at this point. Granted, they played Garinger, who's kind of still down, going through some things. But for the first game, Coach Gray has to be happy with what he saw on the field. And their quarterback Trey did a great job running that offense. They won 54-14. You went to Barry East Meck.
Yeah, and I got there late, but what I saw, the quarterback, Brian Digsby, you have there, and I didn't know his stats, but he had a big play, a 25-yard pass that turned into a 54-yard play that was in the last series. That was the play off of the kickoff after East Meck had taken the lead. It was a nice play. I thought he made a nice read, and of course the kid catch after the ball was great. They threw again. He was sacked. He threw. There was a PI, pass interference. But then he threw a nice throw, and I've not my video. I have a nice throw, a fade. I called it a flag as I was talking, but it was a fade into the end zone, corner of the end zone. Looked like the kid made a great catch. I thought the kid played very well. You have him.
311 total yards and 5 touchdowns, and he's actually the backup quarterback. And that's amazing. Article in the Observer said he's normally the tight end. Their starter was injured, and he found out Monday he was going to be the quarterback for that game. So,
wow.
I don't know if he's going to be the tight end anymore or what.
What I saw, but granted, it's only like a quarter, and I got there late in the third quarter. There was maybe a minute or so left, but I saw all the fourth quarter, and that was probably some of East's best time at times, and we can talk about that later. But I was impressed with the little bit that I saw. Apparently, he had a big night. That's a big night for a kid that wasn't your starter.
Yeah, I agree.
Wow.
Also, for Barry, their wide receiver, I hope I'm saying this right, Kusegi, Cureton, 7 catches for 152 yards and a touchdown. Good job. Also, East Meck running back. Juan Powell had 170 yards rushing.
I didn't get to see all of it. He did have some nice runs. He had a big, nice run in the go-ahead touchdown drive. Obviously, I didn't get to see all of what he did. What little bit I saw, and it's just a quarter, and both of those players, from the little bit I saw, deserve the mention. And Matt picked them out before I even talked to him. So.
And then you were at the doubleheader last night.
Oh, yes.
And we got a couple guys here from Myers Park. I got wide receiver Brandon Adams, 129 yards receiving and a touchdown. And the linebacker Ben Norris, who had a tackle for loss and then a sack in consecutive plays to help secure that win at the end of the game when they're holding Country Day out at the end there.
Right.
And you've got a couple more there from Myers
Well, we
Park
got them all down there. We add the stats for them. I thought Davidson, the quarterback, I thought he played very well. He had 2 touchdowns, I think something like 198 yards, exactly. And help me pronounce the kid's name. Nostra, I think is how you pronounce his name. He caught a touchdown pass, and he got the interception that sealed the deal in the game. I also wanted to kind of mention that the entire defense, especially when Country Day was at INT, was at the goal line.
Good job, you guys at Myers Park. Well deserved. Then, of course, Mallard Creek Independence after that. I got James Smith, 213 total yards and 6 total touchdowns in their win, obviously. He's been a good player the past few years, and it's not a surprise for him to be on this list.
So, I saw some comments on the forum about how he started slow, and he did. I think he was 7 for 17 or something like that. I've got pictures. I wish, again, another one of those things you wish you had video of, but he had that nice run, and my camera takes 8 shots a second. So, you can do the math on that. You're talking about 125 milliseconds. And from one frame, he's running like this. The next frame, you've got a divot in the ground, and he's already turned this way. And he's already made a step and turn, and the divot's flying up. Just phenomenal. When a kid can make that kind of move, and again, all the people around me were like, "Wow!" Photographers and all, they're going to each other. You got video of that? Did anybody get? Nobody had video of it, unfortunately. I'm sure the TVs did, but he played a great ball game. I thought. All things considered, he started slow, and I know there could be some argument about is he the MVP? That kid's going to be special. Did you put anybody else down?
No, but you
Okay,
had some
so
things you wanted to say.
well, mine when I didn't really have time to put together a list, but when I put down Mallard Creek, I just said entire team, because the entire team played, I thought, well. Once they got going, that entire team played well. Bowman had a good ball game. Brown had a good ball game. The defensive side of the ball, that kid that transferred from Audrey Kell had a touchdown in the game. Whether we mentioned that as a player of the game thing, but I thought it was hard for me to just say who was the outstanding player when I felt like all of the players were kind of at a similar level with each other playing. And to be honest with you, I don't think they played at their best.
Even the second stringers were playing.
They were playing well. It's a whole nother topic, but this might be the best high school football team we have seen, topping that 2004 Independence team. Jeff, did you see any player that stood out in your mind?
No, I mean, I was writing down a lot of stuff like tackles for loss, and it seems I had at least 5 or 6 different numbers out there, and tackles for no gain.
Yeah.
It was really hard for me to pinpoint, not try and pay attention to every detail that goes on, who makes this tackle or who makes what, like tackles for loss and sacks. I couldn't keep up.
A kid makes a tackle for loss. If he not made the tackle, there was another guy there to make the tackle. It wasn't like you had one guy breaking through. It wasn't like you had one guy appearing at the scene of the crime, wherever it may be. You had like a whole bunch of guys, and had that guy not gotten him, the next guy would have, or the next guy. I mean, that's the way it was. So I really think the entire team, which means then you can say the entire coaching staff, you were the MVPs.
Next, East Lincoln quarterback Chazz Surratt, who seemed like he's been on this list for 4 years. 16 of 25, 276 yards, 6 touchdowns in their 49-6 win over Hunter Huss. 3 of those touchdowns went to his brother Sage Surratt, who is his younger brother. So, he'll probably be on here weekly again.
I think so.
We committed to North Carolina, by the way.
Yeah, we got to find a way to get a game to get him in. He's another one of those players you hate to not see. He's been on every time we've talked about a player of the week. It seemed like the last time we were able to do this, he was showing up every week.
And then you got Forestview running back Moe Neal, 266 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns in their 28-14 win over Providence Day. Another one that's been on here through the years, over and over again. He's over 3,500 yards rushing in his career now, among the Gaston County leaders of all time. Another one down that way, Kings Mountain running back Jair, I hope I'm saying that right, Jair Mccluney, 177 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns in their 41-11 win over North Gaston. Yeah. Coach Lloyd, you remember him from a couple years ago. He was at East Gaston when they made that run up in the playoffs and took them up the mountain to Watauga, and I think they ended up playing West Charlotte in the semifinals that year.
They didn't go to Watauga.
So, okay, they didn't go to Watauga.
Where'd they go, Jeff?
Their run ended at West Charlotte, and West Charlotte went to Watauga. But Lloyd had a great year, though.
Thank
you, Jeff.
This one was, I came across this one. I was very impressed. I always try to find defensive players. Desmond Mason, defensive tackle at J.M. Robinson out of Concord. It said multiple sacks, so I did a little more digging. He had 14 tackles as a defensive tackle and 8 tackles for loss.
As a D lineman, he had 14
tackles and 8 tackles for loss.
That's linebacker stats, by the way, folks.
And a 48-0 win over Northwest Cabarrus. Very happy for Coach Glass out there. He's had some tough years trying to turn that around, and he deserves that success along with Mr. Mason. Great game. Wow. Cody Reece, Mount Pleasant High School. 46 carries in week 1. 46 carries for 272 yards and 3 touchdowns. But they lost 36-27 to Central Cabarrus. You talk about a workhorse.
Wow.
That's a workhorse carries, right there.
272 yards. That's,
heck of a game.
It's a lot. It's just like pound. And a few yards here, a few yards there.
And also,
Wow.
last one for safety, Tramone Duncan for Forestview, 2 interceptions in their win over Providence State. So good job to Mr. Duncan and Forestview out in Gastonia. If we missed somebody, please let us know. Coaches, players, if we missed you, as long as we can verify those stats, we'll be glad to get you on here next week, or even shout you out in the forums.
Yeah, exactly.
Get you some recognition because you guys work hard. Coaches, you work hard as well. Get your players recognition, get your program recognition. A lot of people see these things.
Exactly.
You never know what can come of it.
So out of everything that I saw here, I think I'm gonna have to pay a little more attention to the Digsby kid over at Berry. He's been playing tight end and he's moved over to quarterback. Wow, that's a big game in the first game, and wow. Thanks. We have to recognize as many of you guys as we can. Thank you.